Today we're going rock hunting. Okay, let me show you a couple of things that I take along with me. Naturally, I got to have some snacks. I got to take along my bug spray and my sunscreen. But the more essential things for me is having plenty of water. Take along my rock hammer. I will always wear some light gloves. There's all kind of critters out that you don't want to touch. And I usually take along some marking tape in case I find something and it's larger than I want to carry for the rest of the day. I can mark it and come back to it. Got to have my rock hammer. I don't use it a lot other than digging up things, or if I need to chip something using a nice sharp edge, then I'll chip it so I can see inside of it. Essential for me is having some water. You know, when you can spray the rock, it'll bring out the color, bring out the pattern a lot better. You'll know which ones you want to keep. And I use a backpack. You can tell I'm serious about that also. So today we're down in deep South Texas on a ranch. Yes, we have permission to be here. That's number one for you. Always get permission. One thing I recommend is, so you'll be sure you don't get lost, is look around at your surroundings so you know where you are. Find your fences, find your cell phone towers, a water tower, whatever it takes. Some of these areas are rather large. You're out wandering around with your nose on the ground. If you can't see the sun, you're liable to get all confused. So today we're on a ranch in deep South Texas in Starr County, just north of the Rio Grande River. Big country. I'm out here with several friends. Yes, we have permission to be on the ranch. That's always number one. Be sure you're good to go before you start charging into somebody's land. Here are a few things that I've run onto today. Here's some petrified shell. You can tell this area probably was under shallow warm water at one point in time. So there's pretty good sized shells in this area. Some pieces of petrified wood. These are very typical for this area in color and in shape. Here's a piece that's got, looks like it's got some quartz in it. May be able to slice that and make a nice pattern, so I'll probably keep this one and let the rest of them go. Let's do a progress check on our rock rescue mission here. I call it a rock rescue mission because if you had been laying out here for millions of years, wouldn't you want to be rescued and taken back to town and have something nice made out of you? Of course you would. So let's see what we got here. I always use a little water. That works very well for bringing out the pattern and the color of things. And just because I picked it up doesn't mean it's necessarily going to make it all the way home. And I think that's one of them that's going to stay. Now there's a nice piece of petrified wood. I don't usually work with much petrified wood, especially making jewelry, but that's got such a nice color. I think it'll go home. I think it's rescued. Here's another one that's got some really nice color to it. We find quite a bit of petrified wood in this area. That's got nice color. I'm not even sure that it's petrified, but I think I'll pass on that one also. There's a piece of very typical breccia, sort of burgundy colored. We get quite a bit of that down here. I think it's probably a jasper mix, so we'll pass on that. Speaking of jasper, there's a really nice piece of red, deep red jasper. That's big enough I could cut it and make clock faces out of it. I'm probably 300 yards from the truck, so again, it may not make the trip. It may not make the cut. Let's see what else we've got here. Surely I've got a couple of good things. Now this was kind of interesting when I picked it up, just because of the rainbow appearance, the colors of that. So I think that's worth rescuing. This one, I may slice it in thin slices and take advantage of this white quartz through the center here. Slice it thin enough, it may make some decent night lights. It's a good shape, it's a good size. Let's take it. Here's something that looks like it has some nice color to it. It may, it's just big enough and got enough variation to it that it's got some clear looking quartz in it. So I think it's going to go back with me also. Congratulations. And it'll probably turn into the top for oil lamps or for plant vases, which reminds me I need to put some vases in the Etsy shop. I don't think I got any out there. Okay, so we're doing pretty good, and I'll haul this thing a little bit further. If I find anything better, then I'll drop it. Okay, progress check later. Here's an interesting piece of petrified wood. I'm not sure I want it. The shape is really nice though. The color may not be all that outstanding. It's buried in grass around here. This grass is so high you gotta just walk up on something before you find it. So I think I'll dig it up and take a look at the color of it, wash it off a bit. It might go home and it may just stay. So it's a learning operation. Sure enough, color's not that great, and it's too big for me to want to haul it all the way back to the truck. So, sorry big fella, you're going to have to stay here. Alright, you'll remember all of these from our rock rescue mission yesterday. Well, I took them to the shop, and let's see what we got here. Some of them are keepers and some are not. This one is not too bad. It's pretty nice color in that. I can use that for oil lamps. This one looked pretty nice out in the field, so I peeled some of that off, and other than a 4-leaf clover, you'll see that looks pretty nice for a night light. That's pretty good clarity through that. That's a keeper. The little red stone, it looks so nice in the field. Petrified wood. It's red inside, but I don't think there's anything there for me, so we'll let that go. This one I decided to bring in anyway. I peeled some of that off. Looks pretty nice, but I don't really think there's anything in that for me either, so we'll probably take that one back to the field. This one, I think I called it a little rainbow stone. It looked pretty nice. When I cut into it, not so much. If there'd been more gold string inside that, then that color transition would have been pretty nice. So that will go back. This one we thought might be clear enough for night lights, but I sliced it pretty thin, and you can see there's not much light coming through it, so I think that's a no-go also. This one looked like it might be good for night lights. Got some nice quartz in that. So I cut that fairly thin, and you can see looking at the light through that, yeah, that's not so bad. I'll do some more of those. That's a good one. And the piece of shell, I sliced into it, and it looks pretty good too. You know, I think I can slice some of that out, and it'll go well with oil lamps or the flower vase tops. Okay, so we did pretty good on our hunt yesterday. Anytime you can get 50%, you're doing pretty well. So, you'll be invited to go back on the next rock rescue mission with me. I had fun. Let's do it again.